March 1st, 1976. A quiet suburban home in Bethesda, Maryland. A well-respected U.S. State Department official, a man entrusted with international affairs, finishes his workday like any other. He drives home, just as he had done countless times before. Inside the house, his wife, mother, and 3 sons settle in for the evening. The air is still, the neighborhood peaceful. But something is about to happen, something unthinkable. And once it begins, there will be no turning back. This is not the story of a crime of passion. This is not the story of a man who simply lost control. This is the story of careful steps, cold calculations, a methodical erasure of an entire family. A man disappears, leaving behind a trail of blood, unanswered questions, and decades of speculation. His name is William Bradford Bishop. His face has been plastered on wanted posters for years, his case studied by investigators, criminologists, and those obsessed with the minds of fugitives. And yet, he remains a ghost. How does a man who lived an ordinary life, one filled with career ambition, international travels, and family commitments, become the architect of something so incomprehensible? And more importantly, where is he now? Tonight, we examine every piece of this case. The choices that led to that night, the deliberate actions taken in the aftermath, the clues left behind, the sightings, the theories, and the one woman who, decades later, made a discovery that changed everything she thought she knew about her own identity. But before we begin, ask yourself this: how well do you really know the people closest to you? If you're ready to uncover the shocking details of this case, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Your support helps bring cases like this to light and keeps these stories from being forgotten. To truly understand the enigma of William Bradford Bishop, we must journey back to the beginning, to the roots that shaped a man who would later become one of America's most elusive fugitives. William Bradford Bishop Jr. entered the world on August 1st, 1936, in Pasadena, California. Born to Lobelia Amaryllis Street Germain and William Bradford Bishop Sr., his early environment was one of aspiration and opportunity. He attended South Pasadena High School, where he met his future wife, Annette Weiss. Their relationship blossomed early, setting the foundation for a family that would later be shattered. Bishop's academic journey led him to Yale University, where he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in history. His thirst for knowledge didn't stop there. He pursued a Master of Arts in International Studies from Middlebury College. Some accounts suggest he also obtained a master's degree in African Studies from UCLA. These academic pursuits were more than just degrees. They were stepping stones to a promising career in diplomacy. After Yale, Bishop joined the United States Army, dedicating 4 years to counterintelligence. During this period, he honed his linguistic skills, becoming fluent in English, Italian, French, Spanish, and Serbo-Croatian. This proficiency would later serve him well in his diplomatic endeavors. His military service wasn't just about intelligence work. It was a testament to his discipline and commitment to national service. Transitioning from military to civilian service, Bishop joined the U.S. State Department. His postings were as diverse as they were prestigious. In Italy, he served in cities like Verona, Milan, and Florence between 1968 and 1972, immersing himself in European culture and politics. His assignments in Africa took him to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and Gaborone, Botswana, from 1972 to 1974, where he navigated complex political landscapes. By 1974, Bishop secured a position at the State Department's headquarters in Washington, D.C., serving as an assistant chief in the Division of Special Activities and Commercial Treaties. Colleagues viewed him as ambitious, with aspirations reaching as high as becoming a U.S. ambassador. Bishop's personal life appeared idyllic. He and Annette had 3 sons, William III, Brenton, and Jeffrey. The family resided in Bethesda, Maryland, sharing their home with Bishop's mother, Lobelia. Their suburban life seemed picture-perfect, filled with community events, school activities, and family gatherings. Beneath this veneer of success and stability lay a more tumultuous reality. Bishop was a long-time insomniac, reportedly under psychiatric care, and had used medication for depression. Colleagues described him as a perfectionist, quick to anger, and possessing a volatile temperament. His diaries revealed a man yearning for freedom and self-sufficiency, hinting at internal conflicts and dissatisfaction. These psychological undercurrents, combined with professional pressures and personal expectations, painted the portrait of a man grappling with profound inner turmoil. As we delve deeper into William Bradford Bishop's life, we uncover the complexities of a man who, on the surface, had it all: a stellar education, a promising career, a loving family. Yet beneath that facade, there existed a labyrinth of emotions, ambitions, and struggles that would eventually lead to an unfathomable act. Stay with us as we continue this journey, exploring the events that culminated in a crime that still haunts the annals of American history. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Your engagement ensures that stories like these are told and remembered. Before everything changed, the Bishop family appeared to have it all: a successful father, a devoted mother, 3 bright young boys, and a loving grandmother. To those on the outside, they seemed like the quintessential American family. But how much can appearances really reveal? Annette Weiss Bishop. A loving wife and devoted mother, Annette was well-educated and independent. She had met William in high school, and their relationship had withstood the test of time. She was known for her patience, her commitment to their sons, and her ability to manage the household while her husband worked demanding jobs abroad. Lobelia Amaryllis Street. Germaine Bishop. Bishop's mother was a strong-willed woman who had always been deeply involved in her son's life. She lived with the family in Bethesda, helping to raise her grandsons. While she was known for her refined taste and social poise, her presence in the home may have caused unspoken tensions. The 3 sons, William III, 14, Brenton, 10, and Jeffrey, 5. William III was the eldest, intelligent, and athletic, carrying the burden of being the firstborn. Brenton was a middle child, often looking up to his father, but also seeking his own identity. Jeffrey, the youngest, was full of energy, still clinging to childhood innocence. Their home in Carter Rock Springs, an upscale suburban neighborhood, was a picturesque 2-story house with a yard where the boys played. The family was well regarded in the community, attending local events and forming friendships with neighbors. Bishop's diplomatic job meant frequent absences, but when he was home, they took family vacations and enjoyed dinner together, at least on the surface. He suffered from chronic insomnia and was reportedly taking medication for depression. His perfectionism and ambition made him volatile, especially when things didn't go as planned. Even the most picture-perfect families have their hidden struggles. Behind the neatly painted walls of the Bishop home, unspoken tensions simmered, and in time, they would boil over. Then, in early 1976, everything shifted. A single moment, a single decision, shattered the illusion of control William Bradford Bishop had built around his life. Bishop had dedicated years to his diplomatic career, sacrificing time with his family. He believed that 1976 would be his year. A promotion was within reach. But he was passed over. Someone else was chosen. To a man like Bishop, this was more than professional disappointment. It was a direct assault on his self-worth. This moment may have triggered something deep inside him, a sense that his carefully constructed life was slipping through his fingers. Bishop was growing increasingly withdrawn, restless, agitated. Friends and neighbors later recalled a subtle but undeniable change in his demeanor. March 1st, 1976. Bishop leaves work early, telling colleagues he isn't feeling well. That evening, something would happen that no one could have foreseen. At this point, no one could have predicted what would happen next. The quiet Bethesda home was about to become a crime scene that would horrify an entire nation. But what drove William Bradford Bishop to commit the unthinkable? And how did he disappear without a trace? Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next chapter of this chilling case. And if you think this story deserves to be heard, share it with someone who follows true crime. The truth is waiting to be uncovered. For William Bradford Bishop, work was not just a job, it was his identity. His entire life had been structured around a singular ambition, climbing the ranks of the U.S. State Department. He had done everything right. So when the promotion he had worked years for was given to someone else, it wasn't just a setback, it was a personal failure. And for a man like Bishop, failure was unacceptable. Bishop had served as a Foreign Service officer for nearly 16 years, with postings in Ethiopia, Italy, and Botswana. He spoke multiple languages, was well-educated, and had an elite academic background. He expected to rise quickly. But in early 1976, he was overlooked for a promotion to a higher diplomatic position. This rejection was devastating, not just financially, but psychologically. He had built his entire self-worth on his career, and now, in his 40s, he saw that future slipping away. Those around him noticed he was different, less engaged, more irritable, more distant. March 1st, 1976. Bishop left work early, citing illness. But was he sick, or was something else at play? If you had spoken to William Bradford Bishop in those last weeks before the murders, you might not have seen anything unusual. But look closely at his habits, his behavior, his decisions, and a different picture emerges. The kind of picture that, in hindsight, makes you wonder how no one saw what was coming. Bishop had been prescribed medication for insomnia and depression, but did he take it? He had started skipping tennis matches and social events. His withdrawal was gradual, almost imperceptible, but it was happening. His journals, found later, revealed darker thoughts, reflections on failure, uncertainty, and regret. Friends noticed he looked exhausted, not just tired, but unwell. He began losing weight, drinking more coffee, smoking more cigarettes, small but telling signs. While much of Bishop's stress was attributed to his career, some have speculated that his marriage was far from stable. Had Annette confronted him about his failures? Had Lobelia expressed disappointment? Money problems, extramarital affairs, midlife crisis? Some questions may never have answers. On February 29th, 1976, a rare leap year day, Bishop made an unexpected trip, one that would later seem haunting in hindsight. He drove alone to North Carolina. What was he doing? Was he scouting locations, buying supplies, or just thinking? Was this an act of spontaneous rage? Or did William Bradford Bishop always know what he was going to do? The evidence is startling, and it's hard to ignore. On March 1st, 1976, he visited a hardware store and purchased a small axe. The same day, he filled up multiple gas cans. Why would someone need so much fuel? He withdrew hundreds of dollars in cash, not unusual, but given what happened next, deeply disturbing. After leaving the office, he was seen in multiple locations, seemingly wandering. His movements were erratic but deliberate. It was as if he was preparing himself for something. Investigators later found traces of blood inside the Bishop family garage. This suggested he had attacked his family there, not inside the house. Why the garage? Was it to contain the noise, the mess, the horror? Some investigators believe that he may have planned these murders long before that night. Could this be why he took that solo trip to North Carolina the day before? Did he drive past the wooded area where their bodies would later be found before they were even dead? March 1st, 1976. The last evening the Bishop family would ever spend together. No one could have known it would be their last, except for one man. What was their last meal together? Was there tension, or was everything completely normal? Was he unusually affectionate with his sons? Did he hug Annette longer than usual? Sometime between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., something happened inside that house, something that no one survived to tell. Did Bishop hesitate? Or was the decision already made? The next morning, Bishop's home would be empty, the family car gone, and deep in the North Carolina woods, 5 bodies would be discovered, burned beyond recognition. But how did he do it? And where did he go? This story isn't over. If you want to uncover the next chapter of this mystery, make sure to subscribe. There's more to this case than meets the eye. A quiet home, a respected family man, 5 brutal murders. What happened inside the Bishop residence that night, and how did no one hear the horror unfolding? There is no escape from the darkness in this story. The only question left is, why? Every murderer has a last normal day. For William Bradford Bishop, March 1st, 1976, was that day. A man at his breaking point, walking through the motions of life while knowing what was to come. Bishop left home early, as he always did. He drove to work at the State Department, but wouldn't stay long. At midday, he called in sick, a decision that would change everything. Instead of returning home, he visited a bank, withdrew cash, and stopped at a gas station. What was on his mind? Was he preparing himself? Did he hesitate? No one in the Bishop house knew this would be their last night alive. They were simply living, eating dinner, doing homework, preparing for bed. And then, at some point, the normalcy shattered. Annette and the children likely went to bed between 9 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. Bishop's mother, Lobelia, stayed up later. She was known to read or watch television before bed. Was Bishop waiting for them to fall asleep? Or had he already made up his mind? Somewhere in this window of time, something changed. The evidence suggests that when William Bradford Bishop finally acted, it wasn't in a fit of rage. It was cold, calculated, unrelenting. And it started in the garage. The garage was the first crime scene. Investigators believe Lobelia Bishop was the first to die, attacked from behind with a blunt object, likely a small sledgehammer. Annette was next, found near the doorway, as if she had heard something and come to investigate. The children were killed in their beds. Not a single neighbor reported hearing screams. No signs of forced entry, no struggle. The level of overkill suggests personal rage, but also control. Bethesda police walked into a crime scene unlike any they had ever encountered. And yet, something was missing. Or rather, someone. The horror didn't end in Bethesda. It was just beginning. A family wiped out in one night. A home left eerily empty. And one man on the run. But where did William Bradford Bishop go next? And why has he never been found? This mystery only gets darker from here. Stay with us as we uncover the next chapter. The escape and the aftermath. 5 bodies, a long drive, a fire in the woods, and a man who vanished without a trace. What happened in the hours after William Bradford Bishop committed one of the most infamous family murders in American history? The Bishop home was silent. But 275 miles away, in the deep woods of North Carolina, a fire was about to burn through the night. Investigators believe Bishop loaded all 5 bodies into the family's car sometime after the murders. He drove through the night, heading south toward a secluded area in North Carolina. The destination? A wooded region near Columbia, North Carolina. This wasn't random. Bishop had ties to the area from previous vacations. Did he feel anything as he drove? Did he look in the rearview mirror? Was there a moment of hesitation? The bodies were never meant to be found. But a mistake changed everything. Bishop tried to cover his tracks by setting the bodies on fire. A nearby resident noticed the flames and reported it to authorities. When law enforcement arrived, they found 5 partially burned bodies in a shallow grave. There was no identification, no immediate connection to Bethesda. A gruesome realization. This was no ordinary crime. At first, it was a mystery. 5 victims, no names, no suspects. But within days, the pieces started coming together. Authorities launched an investigation, but with no identification, progress was slow. Meanwhile, back in Bethesda, neighbors grew suspicious. The Bishop house was eerily quiet. A welfare check revealed blood in the garage, but no family members. A connection was made. The victims in North Carolina matched the missing Bishop family. The realization hit hard. This wasn't just a case of missing persons. This was a massacre. 5 bodies. 1 missing husband. Where was William Bradford Bishop? Bishop's car was later found abandoned in the Great Smoky Mountains. Despite immediate efforts, Bishop had vanished. Did he have a plan? Had he prepared for this moment all along? A father, a husband, a respected diplomat, and now, a fugitive. William Bradford Bishop walked away from one of the most horrifying family murders in American history and disappeared without a trace. How did he escape? Where did he go? And after all these years, could he still be out there? March 2nd, 1976. The bodies of Annette, Lobelia, and the 3 children lay smoldering in a North Carolina forest. But William Bradford Bishop was already gone. Somewhere in the shadows, the man who had once worked for the United States government was executing his own escape plan. Bishop's Chevy station wagon was found abandoned in the Great Smoky Mountains near Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Inside the car, investigators found blood-stained clothes, an empty gas can, and a prescription bottle with his name on it. Theories suggest Bishop hiked deep into the Appalachian Trail, knowing the wilderness well enough to survive. Others believe he hitchhiked, boarded a bus or used a fake ID to travel unnoticed? If he had planned this escape in advance, did he have money stashed somewhere? A new identity waiting? A contact to help him disappear? A man who knew how to operate in different countries, who spoke multiple languages, who could blend in anywhere? Was this a perfect crime, or just the beginning of a decades-long mystery? The murders were only the first chapter of the story. What came next was a series of shocking encounters, whispered rumors, and a trail that spanned across continents. Over the years, numerous reported sightings placed Bishop in Europe, Italy, Switzerland, and Sweden. A former colleague claimed to have seen him in a restroom in Italy, locking eyes before the man quickly vanished. Another sighting was in Switzerland, where a witness reported an American man speaking fluent Italian, matching Bishop's description. In 2014, an elderly man was spotted at a gas station in Alabama. He looked remarkably similar to an aged version of Bishop. But every time investigators arrived, the man was already gone. A ghost, a shadow. Always one step ahead. The question remained, was William Bradford Bishop alive, or had he died long ago? The FBI doesn't forget. Decades passed, but Bishop's name never left their radar. He was added to the 10 most wanted fugitives list, making him one of the most elusive criminals in modern history. In 2014, the FBI placed Bishop on the 10 most wanted fugitives list, hoping new attention would bring leads. They used advanced forensic technology to create age-progressed images, depicting him as an older man. The FBI theorized that Bishop may have assumed a new identity, living quietly under the radar. Despite the push, no concrete leads led to his capture. In 2018, Bishop was officially removed from the list, but the case remains open. William Bradford Bishop was a man who spent years shaping international policies. But for the last 5 decades, he has shaped something else, his own mystery. Did he start a new life? Did he take his own life? Or is he still out there, watching from the shadows? The story doesn't end here. In the next chapter, we'll explore the shocking revelations that changed everything, including the woman who uncovered a DNA connection to Bishop himself. Stay tuned. For decades, William Bradford Bishop was nothing more than a ghost, a name on a wanted poster. A man who disappeared into the unknown, leaving behind nothing but questions and the smoldering remains of his family's lives. But nearly half a century later, in a way no one could have predicted, the past finally reached out to the present. And it came in the form of a simple DNA test. Kathy was adopted as a baby and raised in a loving home in North Carolina. Like many adoptees, she was curious about her biological origins, but had little information. She had no reason to believe her search would uncover anything shocking. It started as a journey of self-discovery, but it would end with an unimaginable truth. It was supposed to be simple. A DNA test, a few swabs, a few clicks, a glimpse into ancestry. But when Kathy Gilchrist received her results, what she found was something no one could have prepared her for. Kathy took a standard DNA ancestry test, hoping to learn about her genetic background. The results connected her to relatives she had never met, one of whom was an amateur genealogist. Through further research, the name William Bradford Bishop emerged, a name she had never heard before. Confused, she dug deeper, finding documents, family records, and eventually, the horrifying truth. William Bradford Bishop wasn't just a name in a history book. He wasn't just another missing person. He was her biological father. And he was a killer. Imagine waking up one day and discovering that your father, a man you never knew, was one of the most wanted fugitives in the world. Imagine carrying that bloodline, that history, that burden. Kathy Gilchrist didn't have to imagine it. She lived it. Kathy was shocked, horrified, and confused. She wondered how someone like him could be part of her lineage. She expressed a desire to confront the truth, to understand Bishop's mind, his motives, his fate. The discovery raised more questions than answers. Was Bishop still alive, watching from a distance? Did he ever suspect he had a daughter searching for him? For Kathy, this was more than just a family secret. It was a ghost from the past, reaching out across time, and she wasn't the only one still looking for answers. Decades have passed since William Bradford Bishop vanished into thin air, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and haunting memories. As time marches on, the quest to uncover his fate continues, intertwining new leads with enduring mysteries. The passage of time has not dimmed the determination of those seeking justice. Investigators persistently chase every lead, no matter how faint, in the hope of closing this chilling chapter. The FBI exhumed the body of an unidentified man killed in Alabama in 1981, suspecting it might be Bishop. However, DNA tests ruled out any connection. Each lead, each tip, is a thread in the intricate tapestry of this enduring investigation, reflecting a relentless pursuit of justice. In the absence of concrete answers, the public's imagination has woven a web of theories, each adding a layer to the enigmatic persona of William Bradford Bishop. Some believe Bishop utilized his intelligence training and survival skills to live off the grid, possibly adopting a new identity. Given his fluency in multiple languages and familiarity with Europe, it's speculated he fled to countries like Italy or Switzerland, blending seamlessly into new communities. Another theory posits that Bishop met his end years ago, his demise unrecorded, his identity concealed by time and circumstance. These theories, while diverse, share a common thread: the enduring enigma of a man who vanished without a trace. The passage of time has answered some questions, but left many others suspended in the void, casting long shadows over the legacy of William Bradford Bishop. Beyond career frustrations, what drove Bishop to annihilate his family? Were there hidden facets of his life that remain undiscovered? Did he act alone in his escape, or did he have accomplices who facilitated his disappearance? Is Bishop still alive, living under an alias, or does his body lie in an unmarked grave, his secrets buried with him? These unresolved questions continue to haunt investigators and the public alike, a testament to the enduring mystery of William Bradford Bishop. Subscribe, like, and share. The story doesn't end here. Join us next time as we delve into the psychological profile of family annihilators, seeking to understand the dark impulses that drive such unimaginable acts. Stay tuned. Some stories fade with time, others refuse to die. The case of William Bradford Bishop is one of those stories, haunting, elusive, and unfinished. We have followed every trail, traced every footprint, and examined every shadow cast by the actions of one man. From his promising career to the devastating act that shattered his family. From his sudden disappearance to the countless theories that followed. We have seen the manhunt, the near captures, the leads that went cold. And yet, after all these years, one fact remains. William Bradford Bishop is still missing. A crime of this magnitude doesn't just claim the lives of its victims, it leaves ripples that stretch across generations. The relatives left behind, the friends who never got answers, the investigators who have dedicated their lives to a case that refuses to close. What does justice look like when the guilty man is nowhere to be found? What does closure feel like when there are only questions left behind? A man is out there, maybe sitting at a cafe, walking through a crowded market, or living under a name no one recognizes. A man who vanished, slipping through the cracks of justice. Is he still alive? Has he blended so well into another life that he has become unrecognizable, even to himself? Or is he just a ghost, a specter of a crime long past, waiting to be uncovered? And then, there's the most chilling question of all. If a man like William Bradford Bishop can vanish without a trace, how many others have done the same? The story of William Bradford Bishop remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries. But what do you think happened to him? Is he still alive, hiding in plain sight? Could he still be out there, living among us? Or did his trail go cold forever? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video if you found it intriguing. Subscribe to stay updated on more real-life mysteries. Share this video with others who love true crime stories. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. The search for truth never ends. Stay with us as we continue uncovering the world's most chilling mysteries.